In 2025, this opportunity is going to take off. And here's the thing, the biggest winners won't be the AI specialists. It'll be the people who spot it early, just like you're doing right now. And how do I know that? Because we are already leveraging it. In less than a year, we've scaled to making over 30K a month selling voice AI solutions. And in this video, I'm going to let you in on the sauce. I'm going to share with you what this opportunity is all about, how I would start again, if I were starting from scratch, and the most impactful and sometimes painful lessons I learned along the way. Oh, and if you stick around until the end of this video, I got something incredibly special for you. Something that could completely change your direction of 2025. Now, if I'd be watching a video like this, I'd probably feel skeptical. And that's why I want to share a bit more about who I am, what I do, so that you can decide for yourself what I'm sharing is worth your time or not. I'm Jannis, originally from Germany, and I've been working in the automation space for nearly a decade. And all while traveling the world full-time. You've probably noticed that if you watch my other videos, because almost every second or third one is in a different location. Last year, I sold my first SaaS company, which was a competitor to Zapier, but for a specific niche, because as you will learn today, I'm a massive fan of niches. And for the past 9 months, I've been deeply involved into voice AI specifically. The main goal with this is helping businesses save money and make their team more efficient through automated phone interactions. And in less than a year, we've grown to making multiple 5 figures per month. By the way, with we, I mean my incredible team and me. So now I feel it's time to sharing that knowledge with you. I want to do this because right now, this market is wide open. The competition is almost non-existent. And to be honest, we've got more leads coming in that we can handle over the next few months. And that's precisely why I want to help you take advantage of this opportunity. Because if we grow this niche together, there's so much more in for everyone. Like Wayne Gretzky said, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So if you are ready to make 2025 your year by becoming location independent, making money on your terms, and mastering a future-proof skill in one of the most untapped markets that is out there right now, then this video will be the game changer you've been waiting for. Alright, let's break it down in a way that is easy to follow. What exactly is a voice AI agency model, and why is it so future-proof? Let's imagine this. There's an e-commerce business called Supersport. They sell products on Amazon, and like most businesses, they get a lot of phone calls about broken items. Most of the time, these calls end with either a refund or a replacement. Now, think about what this means for them. They're stuck with handling the same kind of calls over and over again, and to deal with this, they need to hire someone. That person costs money, it needs to be trained, it needs to stay motivated, managing stressed customers. And I promise you, all of that is not fun at all. And imagine, even then, they can only handle so many calls in a day. And in my world, that is a tough spot for that business to be in, right? And this is exactly where a voice AI agency comes in handy. As the solution provider, you'll step into automating these repetitive calls using AI that sounds and feels like a human. Or at least it's close to it, but we are getting there. That means for the business that they would need fewer employees, their team would be less stressed, and they'd finally be able to grow beyond the limits of traditional phone systems or outdated IVRs. What you are really doing is giving them the freedom to focus on what matters, which is growing their business instead of being stuck in the loop of repetitive customer calls. And my favorite part about this is that solutions like this can practically sell themselves if you position them correctly. But you may ask yourself, why is that in the first place? Just think that you're helping these businesses to do 3 of the most important things. At the first position, you're obviously going to make them more money. Secondly, you are going to save them more cost. And another one that is often missed is you reduce human errors. In the end, it's a win-win all around. And now that you hopefully have a clear idea of what a voice agency does, let me show you how you can build one yourself. Oh, and to be clear, I'm not just talking about starting an agency. I'm talking about creating something that delivers real results for clients while giving you the freedom to live your life on your terms. Now, here's the most important thing that you need to understand in the voice AI space: the foundation. When you know the space and you actually understand it, you can find the right use cases and create voice agents that solve real problems for real businesses. And trust me when I say that delivering an outstanding product is the key to everything. Not only will it help keep your clients happy, but it will also bring in amazing reviews, referrals, and case studies. That is how you build reputation, and with it, your authority in the voice AI space. Now, let's dive into one of the most important steps for your voice AI agency: finding the right niche. This will shape how you approach your business, how you talk to clients, and how you deliver real actual value. But the big question here is, how do you find the best niche for you in the first place? I'd say it's probably tied to the industry experience you're having. Because think about it, if you worked in a specific field, you already understand the pain points and the challenges, what that specific business needs. These insights give you a massive advantage and a massive head start for building your agency. By leveraging what you already know, you'll save a ton of time when it comes to finding a profitable offer. You most likely already got data on what hurts most in that industry, so now it's only up to you to use it. Take it as Peter Drucker once said, "The aim of marketing is to know and understand the customer so well the product or service fits him and sells itself. And that's exactly what your niche will allow you to do. Offer something so relevant that it practically sells itself. But here's the thing, what if your background doesn't involve phone calls at all? Or maybe you're just brand new to the voice AI space and you have literally no idea where to start. Don't worry, I got you covered. Let me share with you some of the niches that we've built successful voice agents for. These are proven and real examples that businesses need right now and that we've successfully sold anywhere between 3K to 25K. Number one is an AI patient questionnaire. Simply imagine an AI that takes care of mostly all of the routine medical questions the business faces. It's fast, it's easy, and it makes life simple for both the patients and the staff. The second one is a dentist appointment concierge. It's like having a personal assistant for your dental clinic. It can book appointments with ease, and your staff can finally breathe again instead of spending all the day on the phone. Then we got service reminders, and that one is a game changer. Think about automated reminders for appointments, payments, or other services. That allows the business to stay on top of things and customers feel taken care of. Then we got another interesting one, which is call routers, because no one likes to get bounced around on the phone. With this, every single caller gets straight to the right person. Then we got one of the most classic ones, the standard customer support agent. This one frees up your team from answering the same repetitive questions over and over again. Simply let the AI handle the repetitive tasks so that your team can actually focus on things that matter. I do know that these examples are a great starting point. And the best part of it is that you can adapt them to fit other industries based on their specific needs or knowledge. And to make this process even simpler, I've prepared a pretty cool prompt for you. You can use it with any LLM of your choice to brainstorm niche ideas tailored to phone calling challenges in any industry. You'll find that one directly below this video. Now, before you go all in on picking a niche, let me share 3 key lessons that I've learned along the way. The first one, incredibly important, don't go broad. I know it is super tempting to target everyone, but trust me if I say this will destroy your productivity a lot. Pure focus is your superpower in that case. The second one is that one niche is actually enough. Not 3, not 2, but only a single niche, if chosen well, can easily make you thousands of dollars. And the third one is also a super important one, which is niching down to build systems. Especially when you focus, you have the opportunity to create templates and processes that save you time and make scaling so much easier. And remember that at the end of the day, choosing the right niche isn't about what you sell, it's about setting yourself up for a business that works for you. And now that you've got some ideas, let's talk about how we can turn them into actionables. Building voice AI agents sounds pretty tricky at first, but with the right tools, it's easier than you might think. Whether you're someone who doesn't know how to code, or you're already a seasoned developer, there's an approach that works for you. If you prefer the no-code route, you can set everything up without writing a single line of code. And if you are a developer, you can simply dive into the full code approach by using tools like LiveKit. Now, I know that the majority of you aren't full-time coders, which is why I'm going to focus this video on the no-code setup. All you really need is a basic understanding of how the web works, which are things like request or JSON. And in case you're unfamiliar with those, I got tons of tutorials on my YouTube channel that cover the basics and a lot more. Now, the first thing we need is a framework that enables human-like phone calls by AI. And this is made possible through what we call an orchestration layer. Simply think of it as a collection of tools working together in a really smart way to give you the illusion of talking to a real human. Now, you might try these and feel like they're not really sounding human all the time. And that's totally fair. Keep in mind though that this whole industry is only about a year old. These orchestration layers are constantly improving, and if you compare them to when I started out in the beginning of 2024, they became so much better. Now, there are a lot of orchestration layers to choose from, but since you're here, let me save you some time. Here are 2 of my absolute favorites and why we are using them. Number 1 is Vapi, which is our go-to because it's highly flexible to scale and it works for almost any kind of integration you can think of. It is also one of the first tools that we ever used. And the second one is called Retail AI, which is another powerful option that offers great flexibility and awesome integrations across all kinds of platforms like Cal.com. These 2 platforms alone offer all of the flexibility you need to build amazing products. And even though there are plenty of others out there that you can choose from, these are the ones that we actually trust. Now, here is something important to remember. You only need a single platform to build a solid voice AI solutions that can make you tens of thousands of dollars every single month. So please don't let yourself overwhelmed by the choice of other tools that are out there. Simply pick the platform that feels right for you and stick with it. And once you've chosen one, now we can actually start looking into creating your very first voice assistant. This will give you a hands-on understanding of how it actually works and what it can do, which is, in my opinion, one of the most crucial parts. And if you feel like you need help along the way, I've got tons of videos on my YouTube channel that walk you through this whole setup step by step, even to more complex scenarios. Oh, and if you stay until the end of this video, I got something super special for you that makes your journey a lot smoother. Since the orchestration layer is only the foundational layer that enables you to build utility on top of it, there's a quick list of additional services that we often use alongside of it. Number one is called Make.com, which is a workflow automation tool, and it's probably the most common one that we use, simply to allow other services to talk to each other. Then there's another one called Airtable, which is an awesome tool for storing data. You can imagine it as a database that also has visual components, so you can actually build reportings and dashboards and certain interfaces on top of it. All of that is luckily done without any kind of coding, so you don't need any coding knowledge in the first place. Then for all of the ones that don't need a robust database or anything that is more visual or needs small configurations, you can also use something as simple as Google Sheets, as it literally allows you to store data as well in a row and column setup. This is always a reliable option that we use for smaller builds or for MVPs or POCs because it makes it easier to build things on. Then another one is also a workflow automation tool. It's called N8N and is basically an equivalent to Make.com, just that you can self-host it on your very own servers instead of running on operations and being charged on every single call that you do to a different service. And lastly, one of the newest additions to our tech stack, which is called Replit Agents. You can imagine it as a platform that allows you to build whole apps using simple prompting. We are often using that for testing certain features and making sure things actually work. Now, all of these tools I mentioned can be combined in different ways depending on what your client specifically needs. I think that is one of the beauties of this space, that it is so flexible and adaptable so that it works hand in hand with your agency. Alright, now that you're equipped with some bits of the voice AI knowledge, let's talk about how you can actually put this into action. You can literally build the best solution in the world for a specific problem, but if your client doesn't understand what you're offering, it won't help them at all. In fact, and even more importantly, it won't even make you any money. So when creating an offer, your goal is to make it so compelling that clients aren't focused on the price, but instead, they're asking when they can get started. Or in other words, let's take what Steve Jobs once said. People don't know what they want until you actually show it to them. Your offer needs to be that irresistible solution they didn't even know they needed. I'm a massive fan of Alex Hormozi, so I definitely recommend diving deeper into that if you want to learn more about it. But for now, let me share what we've learned from our experience and what worked and specifically what didn't. The first thing I want to talk about are usage-based billing offers. To be honest, this approach did not really work out well for us. In most of the cases, it's too complex for the relatively small amount and returns that we get. And that's a thing, especially when you're dealing with average-sized businesses looking for voice AI solutions. Now, if you're working with a really huge client, it might be completely different, but in most cases, I really don't recommend it. The second one is called one-off implementation packages. These are honestly working incredibly well for us and are one of our favorite ways of selling those AI solutions. Now, a lot of people think that one-off pricing is bad because it's not recurring revenue, but hear me out. Leads are a lot easier to close when they don't feel pressurized into going into a long-term commitment. And in the end, you can still turn them into recurring revenue at a later point, and the best part of it, on their very own terms. But we'll dive into that in a little bit. Then we got the full recurring offers. These can work really well, but only if you already sorted your sales process and you know how to close the clients with the right value proposition. If you're just starting out, I really don't recommend the recurring model, as it might be not the best strategy for you right away. And another one is full payments upfront or payments based on milestones. If you can collect the full payment upfront, that is awesome. That's what we always recommend. But if you're new to that game and you don't have so much social proof, we recommend aiming for projects under $9,000 as a one-time fee. For some of your clients, this might still be too high, and in that case, you want to break it down into phases. Simply start with an initiation fee. Then you can collect all of the other payments based on key milestones. Structuring your projects this way makes it a lot easier to manage payments and especially the progress. Now, here are a few additional things that we've learned from refining our very own offers. Number one is focusing on the problem and not the product or solution. Now, while the product itself is super important, clients care about what you can fix for them and not the technical details or how it works. And the second one, also a very important one, is that you move on quickly. If you cannot close a client within a week, thank them for the time and move on. And the third one goes together with number two, which is a no doesn't mean a no forever. We've had it many times that leads don't turn into clients right away, but they still were really valuable. We've actually had people come back to us 2 to 3 months later with new projects or because their agency failed or could not deliver. Number 4 is that you should always share free value generously. It doesn't matter if it's advice or knowledge or any other helpful tips that you have. Don't hold back on them. This means that you should not keep any secrets either. Sharing what you know builds a lot of trust and attracts the right leads who appreciate your experience. In the end, a lot of these so-called secrets are so far ahead that people anyways come back to you because they really need your help with implementing them. Because for most people, they cannot even grasp this whole concept in the first place. Number 6 is one of my favorite ones. Great leads ask great questions. If someone provides you with relevant details and thoughtful questions right up front, so even before the project starts, they are most likely very serious about working with you. And at the end of the day, the key is to focus on building trust and delivering value, whether it's through your offers, through your interactions, or the knowledge that you share. And that is how you really create lasting relationships and thriving businesses. Delivering a great service and having excellent offers is a solid start. But here's the thing, none of that will make you money if no one knows what you're actually selling. That's why marketing is so incredibly important. People need to know the problem that you're solving for them and why you specifically are the right person to solve it for them. Let me walk you through a few approaches that we leverage so that you can get your name out there too and start generating leads. Number 1 is probably one of the most obvious ones, which is running ads. So if you're looking for a quick and straightforward way of marketing your offer, ads are great. You can use them to showcase what your solution actually does and clearly communicate the problem you're solving. If you're choosing that route, definitely make sure your ads are niche specific and target decision makers who can see the value in your solution. Keep in mind though that ads can get actually expensive, so they're not always the best choice if you're working with a tight budget. Number 2 is building a personal brand. I really believe the most effective long-term strategy is building a personal brand around your solution. You can start sharing valuable insights on platforms like YouTube or LinkedIn, which allows you to easily reach your target audience. This approach does build a lot of trust and authority, but you do have to remember that it takes quite some time and effort and consistency to see results. You definitely need to play the long-term game here, which I believe you should do anyways. Then the third one is personal outreach. So if you're just starting out and looking for something low cost, direct outreach is an excellent option that you should definitely consider. And here's how you can approach it. Let's say you're offering voice AI agents to improve customer support for healthcare businesses. You could create something like a report highlighting how much money they are losing by not answering phone calls outside of the office hours or during peak times. You can start by calling a business on their after hours to see if they pick up their phones, and if not, use the data to craft a personalized email explaining the missed opportunities and how your solution specifically can solve their pain points. This method is personal, actionable, and often highly effective. Beyond these, there are obviously a lot of other strategies that you can take advantage of, like cold email campaigns, cold calling, or maybe even PR. But the 3 I mentioned are already powerful enough and great starting points. Now, once you got a warm lead, make it super easy for them to get in touch with you. You definitely do not want to lose them at this stage. You can use tools like Calendly or Cal.com to create shareable booking links for meetings. This allows them to easily sign up through a link without going back and forth between meeting times. And if you're already dealing with a lot of leads, consider pre-qualifying them with forms that gather information upfront. We use that effectively, and we do recommend tools like Tallyforms or Typeform to make this process as simple as possible. The key with this is to reduce friction for your leads through clear communication, easy scheduling, or personalized outreach. When you do that, you're not just marketing, you're actually building trust and make it effortless to potential clients to say yes to working with you. Congratulations! You've got your first leads and your first sales call is also scheduled. Now, instead of overthinking what to say or stressing about it, go take a deep breath and remember the following. Let the lead do the talking. And listening can be your most powerful tools. Simply focus on understanding their situation and ask yourself questions like, what problems are they facing? How is it currently impacting their business? When you have a clear picture of their challenges, it becomes so much easier for you to figure out another few important things. Does this client actually fit into your offer? Do you feel comfortable working with them in the first place? And can you confidently deliver what they're looking for? If your answer to all of these are yes, that is awesome. Then it's time to shift the focus to sharing what you actually offer. And again, I want to mention that you need to make sure it's really good. So the way how the lead will respond to your offer will mainly depend on where they came from and how much they already know about you. And before continuing from here, I want to share with you a really important thing that is worth sharing with you. If you do not get any kind of objections during the sales call, something is not right. While this might sound counterproductive to you, objections are actually a really good thing. It shows that the lead is engaged and actually thinks critically about your offer. If you're not hearing any kind of objections, it could often mean your offer is great, but your price isn't reflecting its true value. Or to put it into simpler words, you might be leaving money on the table, and that is something you definitely do not want. So, what to do next? As Winston Churchill once said, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts. Keep that in mind as you approach these calls. It's all about learning, improving, and moving forward. Now, let me share some extra tips and goodies that helped us to close better deals on our sales calls so that we can make more money and provide more value. Number 1 is don't share the price too soon. Wait until the client actually asks for it or is ready to discuss your offer. Number 2 is respect your time. you will encounter that some of the people will go on and on without ever coming to the point. Make sure to set your boundaries and keep your time valuable. The third one is that you should definitely know your stuff. If you ever need to estimate something on the spot, you really have to understand what you're selling. And that is precisely why I emphasize so much that you understand the concept of voice AI in the first place. Number 4 is that social proof is your secret weapon. I know that it's not often a secret weapon, but sharing your work and any kind of testimonials or insights on platforms like LinkedIn or YouTube makes it significantly easier for you to close any kind of deals. And at the end of the day, every sales call is an opportunity for you to learn and refine the process, so you want to take as many as you can in the beginning. Because in the end, you're not just selling, you're building relationships and showing the value that you bring to the table. So when you're closing a client, it is crucial for both you and the client that you properly scope out the project, because if you don't, you get hit with a lot of unnecessary conflicts or tension during the delivery. And trust me when I say that ignoring the importance of scoping is not going to be fun for you at all. Think of it this way, as Donald Rumsfeld famously said, there are known knowns, there are known unknowns, and then there are unknown unknowns. You don't know what you don't know. And let me tell you, that last one, it hits incredibly hard if you are deep into a project. Even though scoping sounds straightforward, once you're in the thick of it, you really understand how challenging it can be. So here's something that worked for us. Limit the scope to what you actually know. This means getting super specific and definitely avoiding broad, vague definitions. So instead of keeping things open-ended, whitelist features that you can confidently deliver. So to make this more clear, let me give you an excellent example. We often work with clients who want to schedule appointments during phone calls. At first, and I know that it is super tempting to just write something like schedule appointments during phone calls. But if you think about it, what does that actually mean and how does it work? Instead, start breaking it down into the actual steps and challenges that are involved. For instance, you might reframe it as something like schedule an appointment for a given time zone during a phone call for a single calendar. You can most likely see the difference, right? This revised scope is so much clearer and sets the right expectations for you and the client. Now, here's another truth. Nailing a scope like this takes a lot of effort, especially when you're just starting out. Once you create your first scope, it will be far from perfect, and that is totally okay. The more often you do this in your niche, the easier it gets to define a solid and realistic scope. And trust me when I say that getting this part right pays off big time, because you're in for a smooth delivery and a lot happier clients. So when it comes to the actual project delivery, the challenge isn't just about delivering something, it is about delivering something great. And that, I promise you, takes consistent effort. Just as Aristotle said, quality is not an act, it is a habit. And in this case, building a habit will make all the difference for you and for your clients. And if you want to know a key for making your clients happy, keep them informed at every stage while you're building out their project. And to be clear, this starts literally right at onboarding. So here's how we approach it. First, we start by creating a dedicated Slack channel just for the client. This is where my team and I jump in to personally welcome them to set the tone for a personal relationship. After that, we are sending them a clear checklist of things we need to get started. That is usually stuff like logins, invites, or maybe even relevant diagrams. Once we are up and running, we send them weekly updates to keep them in the loop. This way, they always know where things stand, and again helps us to build trust and keeps away unnecessary worries. And as a next thing, as you can imagine, every single project is different. So here are a few key lessons that we've learned along the way. Number 1 is have a clear testing plan. Testing is super important, so it's worth making a schedule and sticking to it. Make sure to keep your communication as clear as possible. Number 2 is take charge of the process. Whatever you do not, under no circumstances, let your clients get hands-on. I know it is super tempting for them and they just want to help, but trust me if I say that this usually makes things a lot more complicated. Number 3 is being upfront about any kind of changes. If something is outside of the original scope, let the client know as soon as you know. Most people will understand that extra work means extra effort, at least as long as you're transparent. Number 4 is to stay in control of new requests. We regularly have clients that think of new ideas mid-project, and that is totally normal. But in the end, you are the one who decides if those changes fit into the actual plan or if they should be handled as a separate project at a later stage. Number 5 is one of the most important ones, which is planning a project for closure. Especially with AI, you're not always going to get everything perfect right from day one. In fact, you mostly never will. This is mainly because of the way how AI works, so make sure the client knows that things might evolve over time and set clear expectations for wrapping things up, as AI naturally hallucinates. And I promise you, this is especially the case with edge cases. And finally, don't forget about the upsell opportunities during delivery. If you've built trust and you actually delivered an exceptional product, this is the perfect time for you to add additional value to it. To give you some more insights, we had a lot of success with that, upselling maintenance packages, which include things like prompt engineering, automated testing, or or even SLAs for bigger clients. Not only does this help the client, but it also creates recurring revenue for your business, which is definitely something you want to have. So delivering great works takes effort, but by focusing on things like communication and managing expectations and creating opportunities for future growth, you can consistently turn happy clients into long-term relationships. Now, if you made it this far, congratulations. You've already stayed more committed than most people ever will. And that is a big deal that definitely sets you apart. Take a moment to feel proud of that. You're here, you're learning, and you're moving forward. From this point on, it's not just about learning from me. It's about you taking action to build a life of freedom. A life where you succeed on your very own terms and make a real impact by solving problems for others while moving around the world and making as much money as you want. Right now, you have a unique opportunity to set yourself up for success in 2025 and especially to change your life forever. Now, this isn't just about me or my journey anymore. It's about giving back and helping you avoid the mistakes that I made so that you can succeed faster and with a lot of less stress. That is why me and my team created a program that shows you everything you need to know about voice AI. You will learn how to build it, deploy it, scale it, and use it to create a life of freedom, delivering real value to businesses. And honestly, here's the best part of it. It is completely for free. Yep, that is totally right. You can start learning today at no cost and set yourself up for making 2025 your best year. And I'll be totally honest with you, I thought a long time whether or not to make this free, but I've reached a point where I know that helping others succeed is by far the best way to grow. And this is exactly why I'm here, to help you get your very first client, close your very first project, and help you with this insanely massive first big step. This whole thing is more than just a program. It is an invitation to step into something transformative. I'm giving you this opportunity because I believe in what's possible for you, and because I know that when you succeed, it only makes that whole ecosystem stronger. And that again benefits all of us. So if you believe you have what it takes, and I know you do, it's almost certain that you will hit your first 30K in 2025, all while working on your very own terms by building something that is truly yours. Now, to get started, simply follow the link in the description. This will take you straight to the program page, so you're notified about the next steps. My goal is to equip you with everything you need to close your first client and get that first big win. And once you have done that, once you have proven to yourself that this is possible, I'd love to connect with you personally to help you prepare for the next steps in the journey. Because to be honest, that is when the real magic happens. When you start not just making money, but you redefine your life and creating a meaningful change. Let me leave you with this quote that I read from Henry Thoreau. Success usually comes to those who are too busy looking for it. And what for now? Now it is your turn. Click the link in the description and start learning, and let's make 2025 the year you take full control of your success and make, more importantly, a better future.